Hey, fourth and fifth grade inventors. I have been receiving so many cool photos and videos and spec sheets about the switches that you guys invented. You were really creative. I saw people using all sorts of different materials and supplies and creating different types of switches. Some of them were button switches, some of them were sliders, some of them had all sorts of different levers and everything in them. So here are a few that I've received so far, and just to inspire you if you haven't had time to work on your own yet, and so that you guys can see the cool inventions your classmates have been making at home. Because if we were at school, I'd go around and have you guys get to look at each other's at the tables. So since we can't do that at the tables, I at least wanted to show you some of the photos and videos I've received so far of the switches that you great thinkers are working on at home. Here we go. The first switch we'll see is Zoe, the fourth grader's switch. Cool, Zoe. She used a googly eye. And then here's Luke. He sent some photos of his switch and his circuit building. And here he is demonstrating how the switch part works to open and close it, kind of like a butterfly. Very cool. Here's Brooke. She used a colored pencil in her switch. And this is Alina with an A. She figured out a way to make it look like the button of her iPod was part of the switch for the light. How cool! And this one's Hey Yules.
Yeah. All right.
Nice job, Hey Yule, figuring out a slider switch. And this one is Elena with an E. And she figured out some cool little plastic game piece or Lego piece to put into her switch. And this is Liam's, who used some tape and paper clips to have his switch hooked together. And here's Charlotte's with a crayon.
Oh, there. Now we can see it. Yeah. Good job.
That was pretty cool how she used a crayon in her switch. And this one's Davis's, who used all sorts of different pieces, including this big wooden piece that he could weave the wires in and out of, and some clothespins. That's awesome. And then this one's Corinne's, who figured out a way to get a spoon as part of her switch. And this one's Freya's.
Oh, here's my light switch, light bulb thing. You turn it on by pulling this, and then you turn it off by pushing.
That's great, Freya. Nice job reusing a recyclable material too, instead of just putting it in the trash or the recycling can. And then last but not least, we have a video from Kai with a K. He figured out a way to have his switch go in and out. So creative, you guys. Aren't those so cool? Man, I'm really inspired by your guys' inventions. I hadn't thought of any of those. So thank you for keeping your teacher inspired, and hopefully you were inspired by your classmates' designs and by working on your own, because even if I don't give you a project for using your your electricity kit, you're welcome to try to invent little things and work on it on your own too. So keep going. If you want, you can make a new type of switch, and we'll keep having chances for other inventions later in this unit too. Today's assignment is to complete page 16 in your Electrical Inventors Journal. And you'll see at the top here, the first part of it, part A, has you build 2 different circuits. And I've drawn those out here on my whiteboard so that you can see them a little bigger. And I want you to look at what the main difference is in these 2 circuits. It should be fairly obvious. Yeah, one has a single light bulb and the other has 2. And those 2 light bulbs are right in a row with each other. They could be close, they could be far, but what matters is that there's one and then the other. So that if you were tracking the electrons going through this circuit, they would leave the negative side of the battery, go through the conductor, through this light bulb, and then they would have to go through this one next before they got all the way back to the positive side of the battery. There's no choice. There's no other route or shortcut back to the battery. They'd have to go through both of those bulbs. So what we call this type of circuit is a series circuit because it has one light bulb after another. And the word series means one after another. You might have heard the term baseball World Series. Anyone watch that? Yeah, because it's called a series because they have one game after the next to figure out who's the ultimate winner for baseball that season. Or you might have heard of the term a TV series. You know, you watch one episode and then the next. That's why it's called a series, because they come after each other. So the word series means one after the next. And so that's why this is called a series circuit. And you might remember that this one is a simple circuit when it just has one power source and one resistor in it, some job it needs to do, like a light bulb or a motor or a heating element or whatnot. So simple circuit, series circuit. Let's write those down so that you don't forget. What was this one called again? Simple and series. So on today's project, you're going to be building both of those. And it doesn't tell you to make a prediction, but I want you to make a prediction before you build them. How are they going to work? Are they going to look exactly the same in terms of how brightly the lights light up? Or are they going to be a little different? Think about what electrons have to do when they're going through a circuit, when they reach the filament, that skinny little part of a light bulb, before they can keep going. What does that do to the flow of all of the electrons? And if it does that with one light bulb, how do you think having 2 will affect it? So make a prediction, and then on your sheet, you're going to build both of these to check your prediction. And it has you describe the brightness of the bulbs on your sheet. So write that down after you make each one and describe it compared to each other. Are they the same brightness? Is one dimmer and one brighter? Which one is which? So describe them compared to each other. And then the next one they have you build is a different type of series circuit. What does this one have one after the next? Batteries. So in this one, you're only using one of your light bulbs, but you're using both of your batteries, which is going to be a little tricky because we didn't have enough of the cases to give you. But you can use a wire to connect between the batteries and figure out a way to either hold the wire on to the other battery or tape it on. But what you have to pay special attention to is the direction the batteries are facing. Because, well, you might be able to figure out why it matters. But think about if I had a negative side facing my negative side, and I had them connected with a wire, and I could even connect this whole thing together, but why is my light bulb not lighting up? Think about the direction the electrons are trying to flow. Which direction do they come out of a battery? Yeah, the negative side. So if both of my batteries are trying to have electrons flow out the negative side, that's not going to work. they can't go anywhere. So you need to have your batteries lined up so that the negative side is next to the positive side, and then that flows to the other negative side. Ta-da! So that's shown in the schematic diagram. If you pay attention, the negative sides of the batteries are both facing the same direction, and right next to each other between the batteries are a negative and a positive. So just make sure that you pay attention to the order of the batteries and then describe how brightly that light shines. But make your prediction first, like a true scientist. Think about if it has one light bulb, one resistor. Remember, that's called a resistor because of how skinny that filament is and how much it resists the flow of electrons. But two batteries, each with their own electrons that are capable of going through that circuit. So make a prediction and then build that circuit. And then part C tells you to build some of these other circuits. One battery with 3 bulbs in a series, 2 batteries in series, meaning 2 batteries in a row, and then 2 light bulbs in series, 2 light bulbs in a row with 2 batteries. 2 batteries in series with 3 bulbs in series. My goodness. So make some predictions for what these extra ones are going to do and then build them. And it says to draw the diagrams of the circuits you build on the back of this page, but you have a different worksheet on the back of your page. So you can just describe some of the brightnesses in this little box for what you're noticing with those other extra circuits that you get to build in order to learn more about series circuits. So can't wait to see what you write down on your sheet, and I hope you have a lot of fun learning about series circuits. Bye.